You know, I was an athlete as a child and throughout college. I wrestled. I thought about wrestling all day, Olympic wrestling, so I loved it. It became my life. I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship, a full scholarship in wrestling to the University of Oklahoma. I had 2 knee surgeries in 10th grade, one the summer of my senior year. So I had 3 knee surgeries before I even entered college. My injuries held me back. They didn't allow me to really, fulfill my potential, and I had to quit wrestling. So my focus and my energy changed, and all my effort became into becoming a physical therapist and trying to be the best one I could be.
When I was 20, I met Ivan. Each of us were out with our friends, and a girlfriend of mine introduced me to him kind of spontaneously. And from the very first moments that we met, the funny thing is he talked my ear off for hours. I barely got a word in. And it was clear that we were still very much attached to each other. We have 2 beautiful children, a happy life, a wonderful house, and his business, which we are both very much involved in.
Even in physical therapy school, I always wanted to own my own business and start my own practice. After graduation, I realized that to be successful in private practice, I had to be much better than my competition. So I worked for all the major companies in the United States, and I learned a lot from those experiences. You know, PSI, the brand, the company, really started with humble beginnings. And so I worked part-time 3 days a week, and I did private house calls 2 days a week. And that's where PSI really started. But I knew that I was building something, and that my hard work would pay off in the end. Andrew and I, at first, we just had an idea. We talked about it, and we wanted to share our visions and create a brand. At the time, it was just manual therapy and muscle activation techniques, which was unique, and superior customer service. So the first week of our business, I saw patients in the morning, and then we went to the new place in the afternoon. And Andrew and I were sitting there. We hadn't seen any patients yet. And we sat there for about 3 hours, and neither one of us said a word. And the phone didn't ring.
We've created a whole culture at the clinic of health, nutrition, and of course, therapy. It's not just a physical therapy clinic. There's a culture going on there that's a healing culture that's very special. I know where he came from, and I see where he is now. And so I can appreciate the success, and I trust him wholeheartedly, even when it's scary, because I know that he's going to make it work.
One night, Lisa and I spent all night. We put plastic around, and Lisa and I went and started jackhammering from 10 p.m. till about, 3 or 4 in the morning. Dig in the concrete. We couldn't even afford chairs in the front. We had folding chairs, So it's where we had to pick where we were going to use our resources to build a practice and create a brand.
My name is Andrew Anderson. I am a master level MAT specialist, clinician, personal trainer, and chief financial officer of PSI. And then after some long night conversations of talking about making a difference in the world somewhere, we settled upon me leaving that line of work and joining him in the physical therapy realm in order to provide something that didn't currently exist in physical therapy, which was clinical expertise of the finest sort, highest level of manual expertise, coupled with customer service and a consumer relationship that isn't provided anywhere in the medical industry. To treat the patient as a person, not just a number.
One of my mentors, Robert Johnson, he's a professor of mine at Northwestern University in orthopedics. He's helped me quite a bit along the way, and even as a businessman.
He was motivated enough and easy enough to remember because of his motivation for me to ask him if he'd like a job. And he moved on and clearly wanted to start his own business as an entrepreneur, and has since been a businessman like me and a friend from the business perspective. He's also taught for me and with me on the stage with the Neuro-Orthopedic Institute out of Adelaide, Australia, where memorable because he is self-motivated, which many colleagues are also trying to find that motivation, but he is a leader in that, and he's motivated to improve his own knowledge base, and he applies that to his patients, but he's also motivated to make it a good business practice that is a win-win for him and his patients, and in that sense he's very unique.
My role has been more of a financial advisor and business coach to Ivan. I've known him for about 15 years, and over the course of those years he's had various different locations, 2 and opening up 3 at one time, and we sort of debate where he's going, what he wants to do, and what his best interests are. He's very attentive to my injuries, and I know that I wouldn't be as healthy as I am, and even limited as it is, without Ivan's help. A lot more that goes into it than just treating the patient.
EPETH is cutting edge. Every time they decide on a project or put their focus on something, they try to do it the best. And not just the best for EPETH, but truly they seek to be the best in Latin America. EPETH and PSI, or myself, Ivan Huergo as a PT, both our goals are to find the best knowledge, to create the best sequences of treatment, to come out with the best results, and to help the most people. Any EPETH graduate has the opportunity to work as a physical therapist anywhere in the world. You have a license, and if you decide to pursue working in any other country, you have to go through a licensing process in that country. I would welcome EPETH students to go through that process to work here in Chicago at PSI. There are many different formulas to be successful in private practice physical therapy. Our formula is that service is the grand differentiator. And what I mean by that is 2 things: clinical service and customer service. 20 different modalities or 20 different schools of thought, 20 different techniques. Customer service really comes from Andrew and my wife Lisa's background, where we try to anticipate any potential question or issue ahead of time. Everyone is worried about cost. Physical therapy can be expensive. How much is this going to cost me? So we try to, if we're going to use insurance, we try to explain everything ahead of time. We explain to the point that the person usually understands their own insurance better than, whether they use physical therapy or not. They understand their insurance better than they did before. If it's a private pay situation where they're paying out of pocket, so there's a lot of different ways we can play around with the treatment plan, but still be successful. What we try to highlight specifically is the first impression. Not only meet them for the first time, but also dig into their medical history, a thorough physical exam, a thorough medical history, and on that day we're trying to figure out what is the source of their problem. The next step, prognosis. And a prognosis is a patient presents with a problem, and we're going to tell them, here's what we think it is, and here's how long it's going to take to alleviate or at least decrease some of these symptoms. Visit, we can say, in 6 weeks this should be 50% better, and so we try to give that information quickly within the 3rd or 4th visit. Milestone that we try to emphasize in delivering superior service is explaining the problem, what the real problem is. That need to come together for you to be successful in private practice physical therapy. The first thing is you need to look inside the mirror and decide whether or not you're able to work long hours, offer yourself over, family for some time to build a business, to develop relationships, and to basically create a network of people that you can help and you can give health and wellness information and tips that will mutually benefit.